All right, picture it. October 2020. My husband and I went to Washington, D.C. for the Women's March. Back at the hotel that night, I start a new Twitter profile and call it Roe Talks Race. And that is when Roe Talks Race, by name, began. But if I look back even further, here's the thing. The seeds of what would become Roe Talks Race go at least back to 2015. You see, in 2015, I was taking a course learning how to use new technology in the classroom. Our assignment was to demonstrate something new to the rest of the class. I recorded my presentation and I used whiteboard software. But what was interesting is that they only cared about the delivery. They didn't care what we actually talked about, what we taught. So I decided to talk about racism.
Hello there. My name is Robert. I'm a Caucasian man who grew up in a predominantly white suburban neighborhood and school in Pennsylvania. In my youth, I learned about the horrors of slavery and the triumphs of the civil rights movement. However, outside of the classroom, I did not think about race. I did not consider how my race affected my life, nor did I seek to understand how the race of others impacted their lives. Then, as an adult, I fell in love with someone of both Caucasian and African American descent. Suddenly, the implications of race became relevant to me. However, although I was sincerely motivated to understand, I lacked practice talking about this subject. I created this video to help prepare others to talk about race. The insights presented here are things I learned along the way. I hope you find them beneficial. Recently, commentators in the media have been telling Americans that we should be talking about race. This is a great understatement. But a conversation between individuals of different races about race can often be challenging. Such conversations can be awkward and turn out to be very unproductive. This is because the people conversing are using the same words, but may not have the same understanding of those words. So, how was this barrier formed? Part of the barrier results from people not knowing the true meaning of key words. Here is an example. In the U.S., we routinely refer to people of color as minorities and Caucasian people as being in the majority. Many people think these words are simply describing the population of the country, that Caucasian people are in the majority because there are more of them. This understanding, however, is incorrect. In this instance, majority and minority are actually sociological terms that indicate which groups have the most people in positions of power. Consider that for a moment. Imagine two people talking, one who is using minority to refer to a smaller number of people, and the other using minority to refer to people without power. Different understandings of these words would be a major hindrance to effective communication. However, the conversational barrier has another layer, and it is especially important to understand this one. Let's go a little deeper. Even when all participants have an accurate definition of the words being used, people of different races will focus on different aspects of the definition. For example, if a Caucasian person is asked to define racism, they might give examples of individual bias or hate, whereas a person of color might talk more broadly about social systems. Why would this be? An individual's life experiences shape their understanding of race, and racial groups have very different life experiences in this country. In other words, the United States experienced by someone of color is very different from the United States experienced by someone who is Caucasian. In the introduction, I started by identifying my social location: American, Caucasian, middle class. It was important to me to identify those facts about myself, because all three of those details affect my perspective of race. But when I started considering the things I mentioned here, my perspective began to expand. This was exciting to me, and I am eager to see others expand their point of view. Imagine if the widely used terms we talked about today were equally understood by all people. If every time someone who heard the word minority knew it meant that people of color are without power, and majority that Caucasian people have power. Using those words would suddenly become a constant reminder of the racial inequality that exists. Words are powerful, whether spoken, written, or just thought. Our relationship with them will determine whether they will be a powerful tool of change or a powerful anchor in the status quo. Thank you for watching.